Hi, I'm Tom, and I'm going to tell you what's been happening in German news, so don't forget to like and subscribe. The election for the German National Parliament, the Bundestag, is 5 months away, and only one thing is for sure. Germany will get a new Chancellor now that Angela Merkel has announced her retirement. The modern chancellorship has generally only been held by candidates from the centre-right Christian Democratic Union parties or the centre-left Social Democrats. But this time, things could be very different. The Green Party, named after the colour of trees, have been doing very well in the opinion polls, while the Union and the Social Democrats are at historic lows. Both of those parties form the current government, and while Germans are deeply unhappy with the handling of the coronavirus crisis, the slow shift towards the Greens and away from the more established parties predates the pandemic significantly. However, a particular turning point has been the selection of the Chancellor candidates during the pandemic. The Greens and the Union made their decision at about the same time, in April. Both parties had two leading candidates, which is not that unusual. There are always power struggles within the various parties when deciding this, but the difference between the parties in how this process unfolded could not have been more pronounced. The two Union contenders were Markus Söder and Armin Laschet, both of them Prime Ministers of the states of Bavaria and North Rhine-Westphalia, respectively. And their power struggle extended over months, subject to huge amounts of argument and acrimony. It's important to note that the coronavirus response was, at the time, primarily the responsibility of the states. And instead of handling an increasingly out-of-control coronavirus situation with hundreds dying every day, the two candidates were focused on their own political ambition. Laschet eventually won, but not before Angela Merkel's federal government, horrified at the lack of action from the states, changed the law to take direct control of the coronavirus response, directly against the wishes of Laschet, even though they're both in the same party. German voters may be willing to forgive incompetence, but they are not fans of drama. Contrast this to the Green Party selection process. Robert Habeck and Annalena Baerbock, they were already co-chairs of the party and have worked together effectively for years. They simply decided the question of the chancellorship between themselves. No leaks, no attacks, no behind-the-scenes intrigues. And they decided that Baerbock would be the better candidate together. In the media appearances since getting the nomination, Baerbock has been calm, open to discussion, yet decisive, whereas Laschet has simply been dismissive of his critics, giving the impression that he really doesn't have the situation under control. And without wanting to be superficial, look at them. Which one of them looks like the future of Germany, and which one of them looks like the past? This is the latest chapter in the ongoing story of the Green Party moving into the mainstream of German politics. It has long been an acceptable alternative for centre-left and centre-right voters who are looking for a change. And particularly the Christian Democrats are giving those voters a reason to look for one. September and the elections will be very interesting. I hope that you have found this as interesting as well. Please like and subscribe, and if there are any German topics you'd like me to cover, join me in the discussion in the comments.